Today, I want to talk about how to use storyboarding when creating your presentation. I have talked about having too many words and numbers on slides, and I believe storyboarding really helps you to filter all that out and really come back to the basics and help you to really craft a strong presentation or a strong deck. By the way, I'm still a huge advocate of no slides at all, if at all possible, and just have the focus on you. But if you are going to use some slides, here are some of the things that I do when building a presentation. So it starts with the fundamentals. Who's your audience? What is the purpose? And what is the format? So the format are things like the number of people, the space, and how much time do you have? And these alone in itself are pretty important topics, so I might do some separate videos on each of these at some point. But today I wanted to use these three elements on how we can use that in our storyboard to then create our deck. So what do I mean by storyboarding? So I'll show you my example here that I have used time and time again. I start with my audience, my purpose, my format. Once I've answered these questions, and I literally draw this out, right? I imagine that I have all these slides, and then I want to populate this with the content or the themes of content that I'm going to have on here. Now, you can do this on a piece of paper like I've done here. You can do it in a notebook. You can do it in a flipchart. You can do it on a whiteboard, whatever you have physically available to you. I'm, again, also a huge advocate of doing something with your hands. It's that power of creating. It's different when you do it digitally. You're going to build a deck later on anyways on your PowerPoint or whatever format or platform you're using, but use that opportunity to create something with your hands. Take a moment to step away from your laptop or devices and just think, be present. Imagine yourself, do a visualization exercise if you must. Imagine yourself delivering this presentation. And I think the best way to explain this storyboarding is to use an example. I'll go back to my STR days to pick up an example. So perhaps it was I'm doing a market update. It's an industry conference and I've got 10 minutes. All right, so let me answer first who's the audience. The audience is my peers within the industry, so they're already pretty knowledgeable. Let's also go ahead and assume they know who I am or they know who STR is. So we're the data people. So we are there as the experts' knowledge. So they want to hear our expertise. They want to hear our knowledge. What is the audience looking for, right? If it's a industry conference where they're back to back, right? They are not, and you've only got 10 minutes. They don't want to hear the 20 things we need to know. They just want to know maybe 3 to 5 things max and a story that they'll learn something from it. They can use it as conversation starters throughout the rest of the conference, or it will impress them. They're going to make sure that your story is going to help them to remember you. And let's also not forget, you are here representing that organization, so you want to make an impression. You want to be memorable. You don't want to be remembered for the one who did the dull, boring presentation and just read off a list of 20. So that kind of covered both the audience and the purpose, and also the format, right? Because we're in a big room, a full day, and we've got to just grab people's attentions and make an impression when we can. So a rule that I used to have was like, okay, I've got 10 minutes. Let's start with 1 minute per slide. So that means 10 slides. Another way to look at it is, okay, I've got 10 minutes, so maybe I can do 3 to 5 stories. Let's just do 5 stories for ease of this example. So that means I've got myself 2 minutes per story. I've got to have 5 slides. Now, do not waste your slide on an introduction, okay? Or even a conclusion. Again, 10 minutes is a really short amount of time. If the conference organizers have done a good job, they've already introduced you. You're on the program. You have done enough marketing in and around it. The purpose of being at these industry events is also to gain that visibility. So people can look you up, connect with you on LinkedIn. They can find your company online. They can find out so do not waste it with an introduction about yourself or the business. Go straight into the stories. As I alluded to in one of my earlier videos, don't read the numbers of the slide. Don't read the words of the slide. Have as little content as possible on the slides and just focus on the story. So for example, what does a 7% increase in demand actually mean? One example I could refer back to was during the Olympics. Suddenly Paris saw an increase in the summer, whereas London saw a drop. People are avoiding London because of the Olympics, but Paris benefited off the back of that. And we could see that clear correlation because of the analytics that we've done, the dates that we've researched, and yeah, we could, and then we obviously confirmed that with some of our industry partners and colleagues in market. And wow, that's a great, story to share, an anecdote to share. Like, what does that actually mean? What's behind the numbers? I had some fantastic colleagues who used to do a lot of great storytelling, and I'll probably do another session on storytelling another time. But it's about two things I want to share. It's about them, the audience, not you, and less is more, particularly in this particular example that I'm sharing, where it's a big conference. People are not going to be, remembering every single thing that is shared. There's no time for Q&A, but if you're interesting enough, if you engage people enough, they may want to come and talk to you afterwards. They'll maybe give you a follow on social media, on LinkedIn, and now they're maybe heard about your company and they're curious to find out, right? So it's going back, purpose, audience, and format, right? And once you've got that, then build out your storyboard, you build out your themes, and actually you've now saved yourself a lot of time. Instead of like going through like, okay, wow, these are all the 20 things that I want to share. No, help yourself and help the audience by giving some thought ahead of time before you even start building your deck. Yes, there's obviously a lot that we want to share, and we are incredibly knowledgeable. We have so much, but bring it back to basics and think about how you're going to be most effective as a communicator, how you're going to be remembered, and use tools like this to help you be that. I'm Noreen. I'm a community builder, gender balance advocate, and communication specialist. I'm here to help you harness the talent of your voice so that you can make an impact into whichever room you walk into.